Can a 4-day working week prevent burnout? That seems to be a topic of conversation here in the UK as the UK start the world's biggest pilot of a 4-day working week. I'm Kelly Swingler from Kelly Swingler Limited, and as somebody who has burned out twice over the last 9 years, and somebody that implemented 4-day working in her first consultancy, in my very first consultancy, the Chrysalis Crew, back in January 2019. I thought today it might be useful to talk a little bit about burnout, a little bit about the 4-day working week, and help you to, I suppose, understand the true 4-day working week principles and what we need to be doing, what you need to be doing as leaders to prevent burnout in your organizations. If you are assuming that the 4-day working week is going to solve all of the problems of stress and burnout within your organizations, then I'm sorry, but changing the working hours is just not going to cut it enough. So, true 4-day working week principles are where you pay 100% salary for 80% of the hours worked. And ideally, you want to be maintaining 100% of performance. So it's the 4-day working week ratio of 100, 80, 100. 100% pay, 80% of the hours worked, 100% productivity. When I first implemented, or when I first discussed 4-day working with my team at the Chrysalis Crew, this was at the back end of 2018. As a small organization, I wanted to be able to reward the team without there necessarily having to be a huge financial burden or something that was going to cost us a lot, as whilst we were going through a huge period of growth. But I wanted to give something that would be meaningful, that was all about doing things differently. At the Chrysalis Crew, it was all about changing the world of work and doing things differently. So I wanted to give something that was meaningful, something that was different, something that would really add value to our people. And I'd been listening to and hearing about Andrew Barnes talking about the 4-day working week and thought maybe this is something that we need to give a go. And I think for all of us, really, what greatest gift is there than the gift of time? Right, having more time to do all of the things that we love, and having more time to do things for ourselves outside of the workplace. So I broached the conversation with the 4-day working week with the team, said this is something that we were going to pilot from January 2019 and just see how we got on. And actually, I was quite shocked when I initially spoke to the team about how unexcited they initially were by it. And we talked that through. And one of the things that they were really, really worried about was the fact that by decreasing the hours, they would still be expected to do 5 days worth of work over a 4-day period. And we dropped down to a 28-hour working week, continuing to pay people their full-time salary. And we were about a 35-hour working week at the time. We dropped down to a 28-hour working week. And my thinking was not that I would just expect you to do more, but actually we talked it through. And as a team, as a small organization, what we looked at were the things within the organization that were not adding value. The things within the organization that we did just for the sake of doing them, that we'd been doing since the company started back in 2014. So it really caused us to look at what it was we were doing, what it was that was adding value. Because what we had said that we would do was we were going to close the business on a Monday and just work Tuesday to Friday. So we were closing our business completely on a Monday. And again, some of the thinking behind that was that Monday was a day that clients didn't really want to be seeing us anyway, because they were focusing on getting started on their own week. But I also, again, from my HR career, I had 22 years HR experience. People that I have known that have either worked compressed hours or part-time hours that opt to take a Friday off tend to be disturbed by managers, or could you just pop in for this meeting? Or I know you're off today, but we need to get this done before the weekend. Could you just help with this? Could you just help with this? Could you just do this for us? And so lots of people that I knew that had been working compressed hours or that had been working part-time, and even some people that I knew that were working a 9-day fortnight, were finding themselves working extra hours and additional hours on a Friday. So I didn't want us to close on a Friday, because I think, again, from a mental perspective, it could have been, I didn't get that finished on Thursday, therefore I'm going to work on the Friday to make sure that I get it done. So I was very, very conscious that if we were going to do this, it would be the Monday that we started. So our weekend was Saturday, Sunday, Monday. We looked at processes, systems, anything that wasn't adding value, anything that wasn't adding value to us as a team, to us as an organization, anything that wasn't adding value to clients. We stripped all of that out so that we knew that within those 4 days that we were working, everything was a value added activity. So that was one of the things that we learned. As we were then going through the trial, one particular team member who had young children of school age, his wife was a teacher, is a teacher. In terms of that work, what he was finding was on the Monday that he was off, his wife would then give him a whole list of things that needed to be done. So this kind of household chore list. And he found that he was not benefiting from a 4-day working week. We spoke to Charlotte Lockhart, who is the CEO of 4-Day Week Global. She came in to see us on one of her trips to the UK. And what she really highlighted was all of these things that his wife was giving him were things that would have needed to be done during the week anyway. So they would have been work and tasks that would have needed to be done either of an evening or time that they would have been spending as a couple doing over a weekend, which was then pulling away their time together as a family. And that really seemed to trigger a light bulb in him that was, okay, yeah, now I get it. He did speak to his wife about decreasing still some of the tasks so that he could benefit personally for himself in terms of doing that. And it tended to work, it then started to work really well for him. But I think we also, as a team, and it took some of the team members up to 6 months, including myself, it took some of us up to 6 months to really get used to being in a 4-day week mindset. Because actually, when you come from a corporate background, that training and conditioning that you have is that you are expected to do whatever it takes. And I never worked a straight 35 or 37 hour week. I was doing 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week in some cases to get done everything that was coming my way, to get the job done after 3 or 4 days a week of just full on meetings. So trying to do that mindset shift of I do not have to be working 5 days a week was also a hurdle that we needed to consider. And then there was the guilt attached to that of whilst our partners or husbands, wives, kids or whatever, whilst they were off doing their thing 5 days a week and we were only doing it 4 days a week, there was some guilt that was attached to that. And again, we had to talk that through. For some of the team, it meant they still wanted to be adding value. They still wanted to be busy. They still wanted to have some things to do. Some of them started volunteering for different charities. Some of them were helping with phone lines for things like Help the Aged. I started mentoring more in schools, something I was already doing, but I was able to give more time to doing that. I was able to commit more time to writing, more time to my yoga, more time to my well-being. But there was something, again, programmed within us that actually I need to be doing something with this time. And it took some of us a really long time to realize, actually, if today it just means I want to lay in, binge watch a bit of Netflix and do nothing, that's okay. I have been given the gift of time. This is my time to do what it is that I want with. So we had to overcome some of those hurdles. Some organizations I know that are doing this 4-day week pilot are not closing their organization for a day a week. So there's still a 5-day operational business. And some of them will be on kind of rota. Some of them are working Monday through Thursday. Some of them are doing Tuesday through Friday. And some of them are doing a Monday, Tuesday, a Wednesday off, and then a Thursday, Friday. What we need to be really mindful of is that on the day that our people are off, we are not then bombarding them with emails or text messages. We are giving them the space to set those boundaries that says, I am not working today. Excuse me. And I also think as we start to go through this, like this needs to become our thinking in business, full stop. I did a post earlier this week that basically, like 1 week off is not going to stop burnout. Lots of organizations over the past couple of years have been giving their people a week off and calling it, kind of burnout leave or stress recovery, or we're giving, just everybody a paid week to prevent burnout. If you are at the point of burnout, 1 week off is not going to fix that. And so likewise, 1 day less a week is not going to fix burnout. Burnout in the terms of workplace stress and in terms of the World Health Organization definition is defined as prolonged periods of high levels of extreme stress. So if your organization is toxic, 1 day off is not going to be stopping that for your people. If the workload of your people is already ridiculously high, to the point that, actually they would probably need to be working 7 days a week in order to be able to get everything done, just saying work 4 days a week is not going to eliminate that stress. Contacting your people on their days off is not going to eliminate stress. Contacting people for could you just do this, it's only going to take 10 minutes on their day off or on their holiday is not going to eliminate stress. Underpaying people is not going to eliminate stress. Forcing people to work in environments or working in ways that is not good for them is not going to eliminate stress. So as we see the burnout increasing again, we talk about the burnout gender gap has doubled since 2019. 1 in 3 women are experiencing burnout and considering stepping away from their roles. And I'm not saying this is just relating to women, but those of us that have families, caring responsibilities, kids, partners, households that we're running, if we are then being given more tasks to complete or more responsibility at home, or assuming that our day off then needs to be focused on childcare, doing things for other people, making sure the house is spotless, ensuring that we're living in show homes or any of that sort of stuff, we're not going to be eliminating that stress. So as leaders, we need to understand, we need to talk to some of our people, we need to talk to all of our people, but we need to understand where some of these challenges may come up for people. We need to really set the intention that in order for this pilot to work, all of us need boundaries. That's from leadership right the way through that organization. Boundaries are going to be vital. And if we're assuming that a 4-day working week is going to eliminate burnout, we also need to be looking at the ways that we work, the ways that we lead, the ways in which we communicate. Again, if you hold a weekly or monthly meeting for all of your people that always falls on the same day every month, and 50% of your organization are now going to be off on that day, are you expecting them to come in for that meeting because it might only be an hour? Or do you need to be looking at ways to improve your communication? Do you need to be running 2 or 3 different events throughout the month to ensure that everybody gets the same level of communication? How are you ensuring that your communication goes through? Because again, we know that a lot of stress that's caused in organizations comes from poor communication. We know that stress comes from not valuing people, not recognizing people. And so again, in terms of the organization that you've got, how are you ensuring that you are looking after your people? Just putting in the 4-day working week is not going to be enough if it's toxic leadership, poor communication, toxic work environments, leading through fear, overworking people, underpaying people, not having the right amount of people in, bombarding some of your best performers with additional work because you don't have the people in, enough people in the role to do it. All of these things need looking at in addition to the 4-day week. And I would also very, very strongly advise that you look at the non-value added activity that is going on within your organization. What can you strip out to ensure that your people are able to do the role to the very best of their ability? Because if you're going to be looking at performance as part of this pilot, you also need to be questioning the business performance and where you are holding your people back in some ways. So if we look at open leadership, if we look at trusting our people, if we look at coaching environments, if we look at listening to our people, communicating clearly, ensuring that we're not overly stressing out our people, to ensure that we've got the well-being in place, the boundaries in place to ensure training, development, pay, all of those sorts of things, making sure that that is all in place can then ensure that the 4-day working week helps to prevent burnout. But if you're thinking it's a tick box exercise that we've given people an extra day off, that should be enough, it's not going to work. You've got to be looking at everything else that surrounds that. You've got to be making better business decisions. You've got to be making better leadership decisions. And you really, really need to be leading from the front. You also, as I said, need to consider where some of the guilt sets in, where some of the previous conditioning sets in. You've got to give your people permission, and give your people permission to give themselves permission to take the time to enjoy the day, to do whatever it is that they want to be doing with that time, to ensure that they reap the benefits of it. And as an organization, you reap the benefits of it. I can absolutely say, and this is again very true for many organizations that we've spoken to at the Chrysalis Crew, I say we, I'm no longer part of that company. I'm completely at Kelly Swingler now. But, you know, we were involved with a lot of research projects. We helped with a lot of research papers. We've written a lot of blogs. We've spoken to lots and lots of different organizations. And the majority of organizations have all seen an increase in performance. The year that we implemented the 4-day working week, we had our biggest and best financial year. We were all feeling more energized. We were all feeling calmer. We all started to enjoy it. But we had to get through that pilot first. We had to say, you do not need to be focused and switch on 5 days a week now that we are at a 4-day working. So we need to understand all of those things. Firstly, if we want the pilot to be successful. And secondly, if we really want to see the benefits to our people from a well-being perspective, and the benefits to us as business leaders looking at our business performance. So on its own, 4-day working week is not going to prevent burnout. There's lots of other things that we need to consider. And I would urge all of you to ensure that you've got all of that in place. If not before you start the pilot, certainly as you go through the pilot and beyond. Keep speaking to your people, keep finding out what they're enjoying, what they're struggling with, what they need more help with. It can be a success. And I genuinely believe that a 4-day working week is the way that we need to be working. You know, the world of work has changed significantly over the last 10, 20 years, even the last 5 years, and certainly since 2020. We are at a point where we cannot sustain the long, ridiculous working hours. We can no longer sustain leaders that are not putting their people first. We cannot allow stress to continue to increase and burnout to continue to increase. So if you're expecting it, as I said, to just be one size fits all fix, it's not going to work for you. Look at what's happening in your business. Look at what you can do for your people. Make it work for your people. Keep talking to them. Look at your business processes, business practices. Strip out anything that is not adding value. But most importantly, keep speaking to your people. Can burnout or can a 4-day working week prevent burnout? The short answer is no, unless you've got all of the right parameters in place. I'm Kelly Swingler. You will find details of everything to do with burnout at my website, kellyswingler.com. And if you are interested in any of the other blogs, videos, information, or research papers that the Chrysalis Crew have been involved in, you can head over to thechrysaliscrew.com. You'll find all of the blogs and information and research and videos all over on the website there with the rest of the team. For now, thank you very much for watching. I will see you again next time. Take care for now. Bye-bye.